Open the knees slightly wider than the hips and bring the toes together. Now from here, we're gonna slide the hands down as if we're in a child's pose, or in a child's pose basically. We're gonna drop the head between the shoulders or between the biceps, knees slightly apart or slightly wider than my hips, toes together. From here, I'm gonna lift my hips up and round my spine, keeping my chin tucked into my chest. I'm gonna round, 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 and then I'm gonna lift my toes as I come up. When my shoulder reach the top of my wrist, I'm gonna start dropping my hips down. When I reach the bottom position, I'm gonna start lifting my shoulders and my head comes up the last. Now, to reverse this movement, I'm gonna tuck my chin in, push myself away from the shoulders, reversing this movement, rounding my spine, slowly rounding and going back into my starting position. Again, we're gonna lift the hips up, round the spine, lift the toes. When my shoulders reach the top of my wrists, I start dropping my hips down. And then when the hips reach the bottom position, I start lifting my shoulders and my head comes up last. When I reverse, my head comes down first. I push myself away. I round my spine. And I come back into my starting position. We're gonna start in a normal child's pose position. Legs or feet parallel and knees hip width apart. We're not opening them this time. And from here, I'm gonna slide my hands forward as much as I can. The only difference is I'm just tucking my toes under. For this time, for this spinal wave, we're gonna lift the knees off the floor, coming up into a pike position. So we're gonna lift the knees off the floor, coming up into a pike position. And then I'm gonna extend my knees and I'm gonna start rounding my spine right away. I extend and I round. Tuck my chin in. Round, 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 round. Same thing. When my shoulder reaches the top of my wrists, I start dropping my hips down, keeping my head down. Last thing comes up is my head. Then when I want to return, I'm gonna bring my chin in. I'm gonna push myself back, round my spine all the way to my pike position, my knees bent, and then I drop down to the floor. Again, we're gonna lift the knees off the floor into a pike position. Extend the legs and start rounding my spine, chin to the chest. The moment my shoulders reach the top of my wrists, I start dropping my hips down, keeping the chin tucked in. When my hips reach the bottom position, I lift my head up. I look up. When I want to return, I tuck my chin in. I push myself away. I round my spine. And I come back into my pike position with my knees bent. And then I drop down to the floor.